Y254. Imagine.
A very good evening to you wherever tuned in from. Thank you for choosing Y254 TV. This is Y254 News at 7. My name is Ram Aguko. It is a chilly evening today. I have gotten information that it's starting to rain in some parts of Nairobi. I hope you are well, safe and sound and dry in the house. On to our discussion tonight. We are talking about IEBC. So far this morning we had information, news, heading the television on your homes that IEBC commissioners are resigning. Now tonight we are having a discussion and ask the question, following the resignation of these three IEBC commissioners, then what next for IEBC? What next for IEBC? What is the solution? 22162 is the number on our SMS line. 22162 is the number on our SMS line, starting with the word news. Contribute to us in this discussion. I am joined by a lawyer, that is Collins Mango, who will be helping us in the discussion tonight, and it's all about IEBC. Ensure that you send us a text, tweet us also at Y254 and at Ram Aguko, the hashtag Y254 updates. On to our first story of the day. Now, Kenneth Stanley Njido Matiba is dead, and Kenyans are mourning this great hero. Mr. Matiba died yesterday at the age of 85 years at the Karen Hospital, where he was admitted in the intensive care unit after ailing for quite some time. Kenyans now mourn the passing on of a second liberation hero and a father of democracy in Kenya. His Excellency, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, eulogized Mr. Matiba, stating that he was at the forefront in the shaping of the political landscape of the country, and that his call for the multi-party democracy and the rallying of the slogan "Forward ever, backward never" helped transform our country. Mr. Matiba's body is currently at the Lee Funeral Home.
With a very heavy heart and a deep sense of national loss, that my wife Margaret and I send Mrs. Edith Matiba and her family this message of condolence and encouragement following the death of Mzee Kenneth Matiba. Mzee Matiba was a true patriot who loved this nation. He was a nationalist who believed in hard work and building strong bonds of friendship for the betterment of all Kenyans. Indeed, Mzee Matiba was among the first sons of Kenya who formed that team that began to lay the foundation of our great nation. He initially played a key role as a teacher in Kangaru High School in 1960. Then in 1961, through to 1962, as an officer of higher education in the Ministry of Education. Later, as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives. He also served this country as Minister of Transport and Communications, Minister for Health, and Minister for Culture and Social Services. And without doubt, and it is known,
On to our next story of the night. 6 people have been injured as floods continue to wreak havoc in Mandera County, rendering roads impassable. Governor Ali Roba is now calling on residents to move on higher grounds of the region.
We continue to experience floods that have continued to cause great havoc among many. Mandera County is the most affected area as accidents continue to trickle in daily, with the recent case leaving 6 people sustaining injuries and many being displaced from their homes by the heavy rains. This even as the public service vehicles plying Mandera, Wajir, Garissa and parts of Tana River roads have been stuck in muddy sections of the roads for weeks, making motorists and passengers being forced to spend days and nights on the road, most of which are untarmacked. Local leaders have pleaded with the national government to urgently convene a disaster committee meeting to address the state of roads and current floods in the area. Mandera Governor Ali Roba has continued to urge residents to move to higher grounds following the rising water levels. Reporting for Y254 News, my name is Yvonne Aniula.
Right. 3 electoral commissioners have tendered their resignation, citing a lack of faith in the leadership of IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati. The 3 are IEBC Vice Chair Connie Mkatha Maina, Commissioners Margaret Mwachanya and Dr. Paul Kurgat. The resignations take effect immediately.
When we were sworn in as commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, we took oath to serve this country and the commission in line with the constitution and the law of the land. The appointment to office to serve as commissioners at IBC comes with a heavy responsibility to serve the office and country independently. And the key word being independent, without bias or prejudice, without personal gain and benefit, and without care for political affiliation. This was a call to serve country and the country alone. It must be known that the Commission operates as a single unit. There should never be an us versus them. Commissioners versus Secretariat or Chair versus CO, a failure by any part of the units of the Commission, in our it is considered view, is a failure of the entire Commission. The challenges of the 2017 election call for the Commission to self-reflect and to institutionalize best practices. However, the institution has continued to be dysfunctional, with arbitrary decision-making, leaking of internal documents to serve personal goals, and pursuing of personal interests, all of which are against the laid-down laws that govern the conduct of the Commission leadership and staff. This race to chase ghosts that don't exist needs to stop. The commissioners must all serve solely for the purpose that we were appointed for.
Now, Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko has threatened to sue the Nation Media House over an explosive article which described him as dysfunctional. The Sunday edition newspaper published an The Sunday edition newspaper published an expose painting Mike Sonko as a failed governor with a huge ego. This did not go down well with the governor, as he instructed his lawyers to seek legal attention addressing against the newspaper.
Not happy with the Nation Media Group. He has taken interest in taking legal action over the article that was published in the Sunday Nation, deeming him a failure and dysfunctional. The governor has said that he is going to sue the NMG over an explosive article titled "The Madhouse That Is Sonko's City Hall Office," which he claimed brought both his name and that of his office into disrepute. The controversial piece was published on Sunday Nation on April 15, 2018. Reporting for Y254, my name is Natasha Agunda.
Two labor groups are headed for a major clash over nominations of workers' representative to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the SRC, after which submitted a name to the head of public service, that is Joseph Kinyua, for consideration. Now, the Central Organization for Trade Unions, COTU, has submitted the name of John Matiang'i, who is the Kenya National Union of Teachers National Treasurer, while Trade Unions Congress of Kenya 2KE has submitted the name of Charles Mukhawa.
CKE Sema's Kenya University Staff Union KUSU, that is headed by Dr. Mukwaya, and it was formed in 2014 to rival KOTU. It was known as the Federation of Public Service Trade Unions of Kenya, PESETU-K, before it was renamed to TUCKE, and its launch was presided over 3 cabinet secretaries in a colorful event in Nairobi. The trouble is that Mr. Wilson Sosion, who is the TUCKE Secretary General, recommended to court the nomination of Mr. Matiang'i, who is the brother of Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, while TUCKE Chairman Tom Odege forwarded the name of Dr. Mukwaya as a Congress choice. However, Mr. Odege, who is also Nyatike MP, insisted that their choice is Dr. Mukwaya. TUCKE board settled on Dr. Mukwaya after competitive interviews. Mr. Sosion insisted that Dr. Matiang'i is the best choice for labor movement, saying workers can only have one representative. Doreen Arange for Y News.
Now, Kenyan boxer Brian Agina has been reported missing after the end of the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games in Australia. Brian Agina lost to Pakistan's Syed Muhammad Asif in the round of 16, where he was representing Kenya in the boxing games. Now, this story has been coming up to you in just a little bit.
Police are on the case and are pursuing the matter to establish his whereabouts. This comes after 13 athletes drawn from various countries, such as Cameroon, Rwanda and Uganda, were reported missing from their villages last week. Australian authorities thereafter sent a warning for athletes to honor the terms of their visas. The Boxing Association of Kenya President John Kameta said that the matter has already been reported to the Chief de Mission Barnabas Koril and to the police, who have since intensified search for the pugilist. Kameta revealed that the 18-year-old boxer left with a small backpack without any form of identification. However, there are reports that he is still in Australia, for he cannot leave the country because they are not allowed to keep their passports until the games are over and the passports are handed to them when returning to their home countries. Mr. Kameta said that the boxer was worried about his performance, but he tried talking to him and assured him that at his age there is still a future and he will do best next time. Reporting for Y254 News, my name is Patricia Murio.
A very good story right there. We are heading to a short break, but before we do that, the question of the day, the discussion of today is about the IEBC resignation, and you're asking, following the resignation of the 3 commissioners, what's next for IEBC? Following the resignation of the 3 commissioners, what's next for IEBC? Send us a text to 22162, starting with the word news. 22162 is the number starting with the word news. Tweet us also at Y254 channel on Twitter, at Aguko. The hashtag is Y254 updates. We are joined by a lawyer, that is Collins Mango, with the discussion. Stay tuned as we take this short break in just a little bit. Do not go away. We'll be back in a little while. This is Y254 News.
Y254. Imagine.
Welcome to Mega Dollar Lottery. To play Mega Dollar is very easy. Go to Lipa na M-Pesa, choose Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, account name Mega, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN, then choose any 10 numbers between 1 and 80, send to 29588. Draw is after every 4 minutes. You can win thousands of shillings or up to the 30 million shillings jackpot. Deposit, play, win with Mega Dollar.
29588. Hakuna kulala, hakuna kudoro. Ine mama ine mami. Naimba na shukuru Mungu.
mapembe ongeze mkia na ukini bip tunakupigia. And let me make one thing clear. Bra 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 stack.
Y254 Imagine.
Y254 Imagine.
Welcome back. This is Y254 News. Today we are talking about IEBC resignations. I'm joined by Mangu, who is a lawyer, Collins Mangu, a lawyer, and we shall help in the discussion of tonight. And if I would go back, commissioners announced their resignation today morning and saying that they do not have faith in the IEBC chairman, that is Mr. Wafula Chebukati, and his leadership. Rosalind Akombe, by the way, resigned last year on 18th October. Many people are resigning, by the way. And it's like soon the IEBC will be empty. Now, does this have an effect on other commissioners? And what do you think, does it affect the morals and the morals of the people who are remaining at IEBC?
Thank you very much, Ram, for hosting me once again. I think it's my first time this year. It's quite a chill evening. Yes, it's my first time this year. First of all, thank you for your question. But just before I get to it, it's a chill evening, and right now Kenyans are mourning the death of one of the democratic revolutionaries in the country, and that's the father of multi-democracy, you could say, the late Kenneth Matiba. Yes, and I'd like to join the country in mourning the great hero. Wow. And pass my condolences to the family. Wow, thank you. And it seems already to be quite an eventful week. On Monday morning, the three commissioners have since resigned, joining Rosalind Akombe, as you've rightly put it out. Now, the IEBC Act sets out the regulations and the terms of how the Commission should operate. And since the resignation of Dr. Akombe, we are yet to see any form of replacement. And now there are three more that have joined in the resignation list. You're saying it's now a season of people resigning. So we have four commissioners out. IEBC is constituted of 7 commissioners, including the chair. So the chair and 6 other commissioners. Out of the 6, one is the vice chair, which is Consolata Nkata, and we have Paul Kurgat and Margaret Mwachanya. So those are 4. So the commission only has 3 commissioners left. So legally, what is supposed to happen is that upon resignation, as per the Act, within 7 days. The commission, the Act stipulates that within 7 days of resignation, official resignation, the president should within 7 days set out a commission that should be able to vet and replace the resigned commissioners. But however, this resignation has come with a lot of political pressure. Already we have seen there's already an expose. First of all, the 3 commissioners who are resigning are stating that they have a lack of confidence on the chair. This is a major issue coming after. You remember that one of the presidential candidates, Raila Odinga, resigned from, quit the race, citing lack of confidence in the commission. Now we are having even the commissioners themselves citing lack of confidence. Remember, it's only last week that the CEO, the executive of the commissioner, was sent on compulsory leave. And
so does this thing also put a question onto the leadership skills and the leadership qualities of the IEBC chairman, Chebukati?
Definitely. I've seen in part of the letter there, quoting some of the decision, the way the boardroom is run, they're saying that, some of those board decisions seemed to be politically influenced and money being flouted, in the commission. And these are grave issues. These are serious issues that Kenyans should not just take them lightly. I mean, this is a commission that is tasked in carrying out a free and fair elections, and a democracy is upheld by how a country conducts its elections. So if the process itself has a problem, then it brings a lot of question in terms of how strong we are democratically. So these commissions are critical in the establishment of a democracy like Kenya.
Section 7A,
yes,
as you had mentioned earlier, I would like to quote it.
Yes.
Section 7A of the IEBC Act states that any commissioner who wishes to resign must write to the president.
Yes.
And not to the IEBC chairman.
Yes.
Was there this resignation that we now had this morning, does it mean that it was now rendered useless?
We can only speculate. Personally, what I saw was the one that was, released to the press. So or I can say I'm not in a position to establish whether the same was a copy of a letter sent to the president. And we've been having such kind of issues. You also remember when Raila was withdrawing, Honorable Raila was withdrawing from the race. There are some who criticized that his way of withdrawal was not the formal manner,
right,
or the statutory, in the prescribed way on how one should resign. Same as Commissioner Kombe, the former Commissioner Kombe, the way she resigned. We only had the letter that was released for the press. So we are yet to establish whether their resignation is formal or addressed to the president,
or even if it is legal.
Yes, but that notwithstanding, it is a public statement, and we cannot wish it away. So in short, there is lack of confidence which has been expressed by majority of the commissioners, and it is now time that Kenyans maybe should evaluate the IEBC and see where we went wrong and what we need to evaluate.
But Collins,
yes,
by law,
yes,
is it in order? For example, Mr. Wafula Chebukati made a statement earlier on today, and he said that he was not aware of any resignations. In fact, he heard about this through the media. It puts to question even the kind of leaders that the commissioners themselves were if they do not follow protocol. Do you think that protocol was observed, and this form of resignation whereby someone just goes to the media and resigns, is that the way?
I mean, I can say this is a continuation of this comical story. We could remember during the election period, we could have different kind of memos coming from the commission, some owned, some disowned. So we don't know who exactly is running this commission. Some of these memos that were coming from the commission, the commission could send a statement, at times owning the statement, at times disowning. But to address your question, the last time I checked, the chair was out of the country, so I don't know if he's back.
He actually gave a statement earlier this day, and then he was he said that the commission will give a comprehensive statement at an appropriate time, and that I put in quotes. That whole statement, that at the commission will give a comprehensive statement at an appropriate time. That is what Chebukati said earlier on today. So he spoke about it and he addressed the matter, but an official statement will be given later on. But now back to the question: is it about now always following what you want? Rosalind Ankome resigned, and that's how she left. Are these the ways that leaders should follow?
I mean, we will go back to chapter 6 of the Constitution, which sets out how a public leader, a state officer, should conduct themselves. And these kind of issues are not, light issues. Kenyans put a lot of trust in the IEBC to conduct their elections. So even the manner in which the commissioners carry themselves out, Kenyans expect them to carry themselves out in such a way that shows decorum, respect to the rule of law, respect to the Constitution, and also an understanding of how they should conduct themselves. It is quite unfortunate in the manner in which the commissioners have been, handling some of these issues. Even internally, some of the wrangles that they've been having, and I think part of the letter they was citing frustration in the manner in which documents could leak to the media, or word within the commission could leak, and it was not appropriate at the time.
Does it mean that the commission itself has a mole?
We have seen reaction from political quarters, some saying, these commissioners, we knew them from the onset, that they were serving certain masters. So we can only speculate in terms of what is really happening. There are those who are saying this is a bigger plan or a bigger conspiracy to bring out the entire commission. Already we've seen the majority leader of the Senate, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, has given the chair a 7-day ultimatum to either step out or face a tribunal to investigate his character. So these are some of the things that are coming up with this resignation.
22162 is our SMS number. 22162 is our SMS number. Send us a comment, a text. Give us your opinion. What do you say about the discussion of tonight? We are talking about the IEBC resignation commissioners that have been happening following the resignation of 3 commissioners actually. What's next for IEBC? What is next? What is the solution? What is the way forward? Is IEBC collapsing? That is the question that we are asking this evening on Y254 News Updates. Back to you, Collins. If I would ask, by law, what is the procedure of resigning? And by law, does someone need to resign at the slightest attack of, let's say, an outside source, as you had stated earlier?
For me, what is important by law is that if a person has clearly stated the will or desire to resign. Now, going back to the Act, there are ways in which commissioners can leave the commission, and one of the ways is through resignation. As you'd clearly read, the resignation should clearly be addressed to the president. That we are yet to establish. But of importance is that the 3 commissioners have expressed in public domain their desire or their resignation from the commission. So it's not really about whether they have, done it the legal way, but rather is to now establish or find out what next for IEBC. Remember, if we go back to the political question, part of the grievances of the National Super Alliance, as it was then, was that the nation now needs to interrogate its electoral system. We cannot close our eyes to the judicial system that happened on August 8th. That was the first time that elections were handled, and they were said not to be held in a free, fair, and credible manner. So was the IEBC itself ready at that time to conduct the elections? So these are some of the questions we need to answer. And also, we have seen now recently through the appearances in the parliamentary commissions as to the question of how the tendering was done. We have now seen that some of these things are now also being questioned. They are coming to light. But they are saying that these tenders were awarded in not a legal and justifiable manner. So these are questions that these commissioners or whoever was in charge, in this case the executive secretary, the CEO, should also now answer to Kenyans as to how these processes were done in terms of the tendering and the preparation. Remember
of the elections.
Yes, remember the CJ said that it's not an event, it's a process. So we have to, see where the rain started beating us.
But also taking into consideration that today, during the press briefing that the 3 commissioners were resigning, they stated, one of the commissioners, Margaret Mwachanya, said that they are proud that the elections were free, fair, and successful, that they were okay. But now, that aside, we have ended the general elections. It's over. But now, IEBC commissioners are resigning. Does it mean that we have a crisis coming up?
Definitely. I mean, this is now a commission. Out of 7, we only have 3. That already is a crisis. If you look at the recent amendments that was done in the Elections Amendments Act 2017 that was controversially passed into law, it was amended in such a way that the commission can now run with only 3 commissioners. Resolutions can be passed with only 3. Before that, the IEBC Act had put the stipulation to at least half. That could have given us 4. But now we have 3, which means technically the commission can still run. But still, you cannot close your eyes to the fact that this is now almost a dead commission. I mean, we only have 3 commissioners. Chebukati has released a statement, the chair. Chebukati has released a statement. But we don't know the stand of the 2 remaining commissioners. We don't know if they are still in solidarity of Mr. Chebukati. Remember that the CEO has been sent on compulsory leave. So basically, even the secretarial work, the day-to-day running of the commissioner, we can say has been stalled, because there are now legal questions that there is a case now in court, and it's pitting the chair against his CEO. So I'd say that this could also be a blessing in disguise in terms of a thorough review of the IEBC Commission as constituted then, and going forward, whether we can strengthen this institution. Remember that Kenya is now suffering, this is now becoming a cycle. Commissioners of the IEBC should serve at least 6 years, an unrenewable term of 6 years. But we are finding ourselves in a position where this commission is serving either 2 to 3 years, and yet then again we have to reconstitute this commission. The danger we are suffering with this, as rightfully put by former chair Isaac Hassan, is that the commission does not have space to grow. It does not have space to develop and mature and be ready for such an election. Let us not forget that the commission does not only run the election. We have the boundaries that are supposed to be, relooked at and reviewed in the next, I think, 2 years. So can 3 commissioners and, secretariat that's not running be able to deliver on the job? Remember, this is a commission that is heavily funded by the taxpayer, and what the taxpayers want is delivery.
But the same commission is divided. We are aware also that we have 2 commissioners who are there. Yes. But because of the division within IEBC, we have 2 sides. One side with Chebukati and the 2 commissioners, the other side with Ezra Chiloba, yes, and the vice chair. But now, if you would have a final word, because I'm told by my director that time is over.
Yes.
I wish we would continue this discussion.
Yes.
What word would you give to the IEBC chair, Mr. Wafula Chebukati? How can you help him clean house? What is the solution towards helping IEBC?
Sadly to say, to me, my humble and honest opinion is that the die has been cast.
It's over.
The die has been cast. I mean, a house divided, can never be united. And really, we need a commission that we are seeing synergy.
Is it over?
For me, it is hard. Now, see, I've even also read a statement from the Senate Minority Leader, who are also pushing for now the ouster of the chair. Okay. Now, the chair has little or no space to run or express his humble or his views for the commission. So my humble opinion is that he should now follow suit. I mean,
and
there's no way back. Yeah. Do Kenyans a favor. I mean, we appreciate for him conducting the elections, but yes, it's now said and done. The die has been cast.
We say thank you.
Thank you.
It's time to resign again.
Thank you for the good service to the country. Let other capable Kenyans who are ready to and eager to do the job to pursue. And already, if you see in the political circles, the debate is now who should be now in the new commission. So the
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Collins Mango, a lawyer. Thank you for coming to Y254. It was nice. It was awesome. He says time is over. It's time for even Mr. Wafula Chebukati to also resign. But what do you think? 22162 is our SMS line. 22162 is our number. Send us a text starting with the word news. What next for IEBC? I would like to wind down the show today, the news bulletin. On behalf of everyone, I want to say thank you for tuning in to Y254. I would like to appreciate each and every person that ensured that today's bulletin was a success. Even you, Mr. Mango. Thank you very much. I welcome you again. As I'm winding down, I'm saying have a good night and may God bless. My name is Ram Aguko. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Y254 and at Ram Aguko. Let's continue the discussion. Have a good night.